Every year, advancements in crossbows dominate the hunting industry. In this episode, we're going to have Randy Wood of TenPoint Crossbows walk us through all of their latest advancements.
When I started 20 plus years ago, crossbows were 32 inches long, 26, 28 inches wide. And now, when we're cocked, we're looking at crossbows that are 6, 8 inches wide, 2, 3 pounds lighter than what we had. 312 feet a second was blazing fast. And now, we're over 500 feet a second. Hard to believe that we've been able to engineer those drastic changes over the course of that time.
TenPoint's latest flagship crossbow, the TRX 515, is one of those engineering marvels that TenPoint came out with this year.
This bow shoots an amazing 515 feet a second. When it's cocked, this bow is only about 6 inches wide, axle to axle. Crossbow's only 29 inches long, nose to tail. So it's very, very compact, very easy to use in the ground blind or in the tree stand, and crazy fast. Also built into this bow is the twin riser technology, and this is integral in the whole front end design. What we've been able to do is take the middle out of the riser, and that one reduces the mass weight of the riser, takes about 1 pound of weight off of the crossbow, but also we've spread that riser out to make your limb pivots and your limb pockets much more stable as well. So it makes this bow very quiet and very stable and very accurate to shoot. Included in this bow is the TriggerTech Precision Trigger Box. That's mounted in the zero track barrel. And on this particular bow, the arrow doesn't sit in the barrel, but rather rests on the 2 roller bearings up front, trapped inside with the brush, and anchors with the HPX knock back onto the bowstring. So to load the TRX 515, you want to grab out toward the end of the arrow, odd fletch down. We're going to slide that arrow back into the trigger box, and you'll feel it click and lock into place, but you want to make sure that that arrow is sitting evenly on those 2 bearings with the retention brush pushing straight down. This will make sure that you're shooting very, very accurately. The TRX comes with the Evo X Marksman scope, which sits on top of the AccuLock scope bridge. It is stronger than the previous scope rails because it's mounted both on the front and on the back. So this whole entire scope rail is significantly longer, but also much more rigid. The 515 comes with the AR style ambidextrous safety. It's very intuitive as to where that safety is, so that you're not having to pull your head away and look for the safety or move your hand around. It's gonna be right there by your thumb when you're ready to take the safety off and pull the trigger. Built into the buttstock is the new AccuSlide Max cocking system. Typically your trigger box is gonna be in the back position like we just shot it. So you're gonna want, on the right-hand side, there's a forward assist knob, and then on the end of the buttstock, the top, there is your lock latch release. So with your right hand, grab that forward assist knob with your left finger, and I typically like to hold the stock just like this. It's very natural to grab that right there, and just slide that trigger box forward through the riser. And then as you get down to the bowstring, you want to give some good firm downward pressure to that trigger box. You'll hear that trigger box click and snap onto the bowstring. Now we're ready to start the cranking process. Put the crank handle in. As the trigger box gets back towards the end of the barrel, you want to listen for a click, and you want to watch the latch lever jump down and back up. There's our click, and our latch lever went down and back up. Now you're going to give 1 backwards rotation with the crank handle. With your left thumb, you're going to push down on the gear stop button. And with your right hand, just backspin that collar. Typically it's going to go about a half a turn. And it'll stop. And now the bow's cocked and you're ready to shoot. Now I want to talk to you about the back winding process at the end once we got the bow cocked back. So the first step was to do 1 full backwards rotation with the crank handle. What we're doing there is taking the pressure off of the strap and putting all the pressure onto the latch. That's going to give you a consistent anchor point every time and help you with the accuracy of the crossbow. Then we talked about holding down the gear stop button and rotating the collar backwards with our hand. And what we're doing there is we're opening up the brake system. That collar is only going to move about a half a rotation, but as you do that, you'll see the collar get a little bit wider. What we're doing there is we're opening the brake system up. That way, after we've shot the crossbow, we can grab the forward assist knob, hit the latch lever, and take that trigger box cleanly down to the bowstring without having to do any backwinds. So we've been out hunting all day, didn't see anything, didn't shoot the crossbow. Now we're back at camp and we're gonna go ahead and decock the crossbow. First thing that you want to do is put the crank handle in. And then I usually hold the butt plate with my palm and my first finger drops right onto that latch just to apply a little bit of pressure on that latch. It's not gonna move at first. Then you crank forward like you're cocking the crossbow and you'll get a little bit of pressure on the crank handle and then you'll see and feel that latch move. And now you can see the lever moving down here as well. So hold that latch lever down and start your backwards rotations. After you get about one turn, you don't need to hold that latch lever down any longer. Just back it down. You're gonna let the trigger box down until the bowstring is straight across the front. And you'll see a little bit of slack in the strap. Now you can see there's a little bit of play in that strap. Take the crank handle out. Trigger box is fine to stay in the downward position until you're ready to shoot the bow again. Then you can just crank it back and shoot. If you have any other questions on the TRX 515, go to TenPointCrossbows.com.
The TX440 is another new crossbow in TenPoint's lineup, earning the title of the most technologically advanced compact crossbow the world has ever seen.
This is the new TX440 from TenPoint Crossbows. This bow shoots 440 feet a second. When it's cocked, it's only 6.5 inches wide. It's also only 28 inches long, so it's very, very compact, very easy to handle in a ground blind or a tree stand. The TX440 is one of two bows with the twin riser technology. And basically what we've done is we've taken the middle out of the riser, which significantly reduces weight, and we've spread those out so that it adds a lot of stability to your limb anchors and your pivots. Makes the bow very, very stable, very quiet, very easy to use, and nice to shoot. Included in this bow is the TriggerTech Precision Trigger Box. That's mounted in the zero track barrel. And the arrow doesn't sit in the barrel itself. It just rides on two roller bearings up front on the rest. And then the knock locks into place back here on the bowstring. This bow includes the Evo X scope, which has the locking speed adjustment, sniper type turrets. This scope will light up red or green. This scope sits on the AccuLock scope rail system, a supported scope rail that's locked in the back and also sits on the riser up front. On this particular bow, the AccuSlide Max crank handle storage fits right on this Picatinny rail. Very simple and easy to use. You just pull it back, locks in place. This bow has the AccuSlide Max built into the stock. This gives you silent cocking and safe decocking built right in. So to start with, your trigger box is going to be in the rearward position, like you've just shot the bow. And what we're going to do with our right hand, we're going to grab this forward assist lever, and with the left finger, and I typically hold the stock just like this because it's very, very comfortable and easy to do, just push down with your first finger on that latch and slide that trigger box forward until I make contact with the string. And I want to give good forward pressure, and you'll hear that string, you'll hear the trigger box click and latch to the bowstring. Now the trigger box is attached. We're going to go ahead and start the cocking cycle. And we're just going to turn the crank handle. And again, this is under constant brakes, so if you happen to lose that crank handle during the cocking process, it's not a big deal. As the trigger box gets back to the end of the barrel, you're going to want to listen for a click, and you're going to want to watch this latch, and you'll see it move. So I'm watching that latch. I heard the click, the lever went down, kicked back up. Now I'm going to do one backwards rotation, and then I'm going to push the gear stop button with my left thumb and hold that in. And I'm just going to spin the collar backwards until it stops. Now the bow is cocked and ready to shoot. I want to talk to you about the importance of the back winding process at the end of the cocking cycle. So basically what we did is once the latch clicked, we did one backwards rotation with the crank handle. That's taking the pressure off of the strap and putting it onto the latch. That assures that you've got a consistent anchor point every time you shoot the crossbow. That's going to help with your accuracy. Then we talked about holding the gear stop button with your left thumb and spinning the collar backwards. Typically that backspin is only going to be a quarter to a half a turn. What we're doing there is as you do that back wind with your fingers, you're going to see that collar actually open up. That's the brake system opening up. That way, after we've shot the crossbow, we're ready to take the trigger box down and attach it to the bowstring again. So these two steps are very important in the cocking process. You want to make sure you do them every time. So now the crossbow's cocked. We've been hunting all day, didn't get to shoot the bow. Now we're going to decock it. First thing you're going to want to do is put the crank handle in with your left finger, and I typically, works really well, just hold the stock like this and apply a little bit of downward pressure with my finger on that latch. Latch isn't going to move at first. Then you're going to go forward like you're cocking the bow with the crank handle, and it'll get a little bit tight, and then you'll feel that latch lever give way. Once you do that, hold it in the back position and start to back wind. Once you get about one rotation, you can let go of that latch and just let the trigger box go down the barrel. Again, if you happen to lose the handle in this process, nothing's going to happen. You want to just take this down until the string is straight across and you see a little bit of slack in the strap. That way there's no tension on that strap. Now you decock the crossbow. That trigger box can stay down and attached until the next time you're ready to shoot the bow. If you have any other questions on the TX440, go to TenPointCrossbows.com.
When we come back, we'll showcase the TenPoint Venom X, Titan 400, and the new entry-level and budget-friendly crossbows from Wicked Ridge.
The Venom X is a new bow in the lineup. This is our most cost-effective bow with the AccuSlide system. So it's going to be a very, very balanced, very fun bow to shoot. Bow shoots 390 feet a second. The bow's only 9.5 inches wide axle to axle when it's cocked. It's also only 32.5 inches long. So it's a very, very compact crossbow, smooth, quiet, easy to shoot. This bow has the AccuSlide built into the stock, so it has silent cocking and safe decocking. It has the S2 trigger, so it's going to be a very lightweight two-stage trigger. Also on this bow, you'll see the new scope struts. Also on this bow has the new ProView 400. This scope will light up red or green, and you have crosshairs from 20 to 70 yards. Also included in this package will be the SDS that's built into the barrel itself, reduces noise and vibration. Package also includes the ambidextrous quiver mount and 3 arrows. The Titan has been in our line for about 20 years and it's consistently our best seller. The new Titan 400 is absolutely going to do the same thing. This is a great upgrade to that model. Shoots 400 feet a second, has the AccuDraw silent, so you're going to crank that crossbow with only 5 pounds of force, makes no noise when you crank it back. This bow also includes the ProView 400. You can light this scope up red or green, depending on your preference, and you always have the etched reticle. Bow's gonna come with the quiver and 3 arrows. Also included in the Titan 400 is the new SDS that's built into this barrel. So it's a very quiet, very smooth front end, very compact, When cocked, the bow's only going to be 9.5 inches wide, so it's going to be very, very narrow, easy to handle in a ground blind, in a tree stand, anything like that. And again, it's got the AccuDraw Silent, the ProView 400, quiver and 3 arrows, the SDS built in. If you have any other questions, go to TenPointCrossbows.com. You know, the TenPoint Crossbows, which are top in the industry, but you know, we also have the Wicked Ridge brand, which is a very cost-effective brand, great quality, made in the US, comes down the same assembly line. The same people know the product, and they know what they're doing when they're putting them together. The first new bow in the lineup is the Commander M1. This is a new bow for 2024 in the Wicked Ridge lineup. The bow shoots 380 feet a second. When it's cocked, it's only 9.5 inches wide, so very, very compact. Super lightweight at 5.8 pounds. This bow comes with the AccuDraw, the multi-line scope as well. Quiver and 3 arrows is all part of the bow package. It's built in the US, just a super compact, super smooth crossbow to shoot. The Invader M1 is a great bow, shoots 390 feet a second. Super compact crossbow, very, very lightweight. When the bow is cocked, it's only about 9.5 inches wide, so it's very compact side to side. Super lightweight at 5.8 pounds, so it's a very lightweight crossbow to handle out in the woods. It has the M1 front end, which we've used for several years. Very durable, very dependable, very smooth and quiet crossbow to shoot. Bow also comes with the AccuDraw built into the stock. That takes the draw weight down to about 5 pounds. Also included in the package will be the new ProView scope. This lights up red or green. You've got reticles in there from 20 to 70 yards. Package also includes the 3 arrow quiver and ambidextrous quiver mount, along with 3 arrows. For more information on this bow or any of the TenPoint or Wicked Ridge bows, go to TenPointCrossbows.com. We're constantly evolving and trying to make the crossbow better for the hunter. And the features on the crossbow have always been kind of out in the forefront. But I think as you look at our mix of accessories to now the new Axis tripod that has a very small footprint when you're in the ground blind, it's got a lot of great features built into it, but for me, one of the big things is just the footprint. And I thought this was a pretty easy and simple way to kind of show what the differences are. This circle is set up with a competitor's tripod. And as you can see with the Axis, significantly smaller footprint. Depending on the competition, it's gonna be 50% or more smaller than the other competition out there. So it gives you a lot more room for movement. It gives you a lot more room if you're sitting with a child or with a friend, or you're videoing it, whatever the case may be. It's got a simple, easy elevation adjust. We've got a bubble level, we've got a compass, and then we also have a bubble level up here on the clamp as well. And then your easy switch off on the gimbal, just tighten it up, locks everything in place. Simple, quiet, loosen it up, and you can move all around. The Axis, when you've got it completely compressed, is only 26 inches long, but when you have it fully extended, that'll let you shoot with an elevation up to 40 inches as well. So it's very compact to carry in, but provides a lot of versatility in height as you're shooting that crossbow. So just again, a very versatile setup, both from an ease of use standpoint and from a compactness, carrying it in and handling it, that sort of thing. From the top of the line TenPoint to the entry level Wicked Ridge bows, we've got you covered. Whether it's cocking mechanisms, whether it's speed focused, we've got just a great mix of products that'll work for any hunter on any budget with anything you're gonna hunt or any application that you're looking to do. There's a bow in our lineup that will get you out in the woods.
That'll do it for this episode. Be sure to check out our website and YouTube channel for more in-depth content. And we'll see you next time here on Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's presents Deer Gear TV.